We're talking about human capital. It's resources that go into creativity, but these resources are people.
Professor Lobel, it's so great to have you on the show, and we're so excited to talk with you about Talent Wants to Be Free.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
And this is my research assistant, Brian O'Connell.
Hi, Brian.
So the book, Talent Wants to Be Free, what do you mean by free?
The title comes from Information Wants to Be Free, kind of the slogan of the creators of the internet.
Ever heard the expression information wants to be free? That's the slogan of the computer underground. Information wants to be free.
Just the basic idea that people should be able to choose where they're working freely, actively, frequently, and to be valued.
So, Professor, you mentioned several different studies, in particular on developers in Silicon Valley and top talent. I wondered, based on your findings, what your takeaways would be, or what you would say to those who aren't among that sort of elite group of talent.
I see these questions and battles happening in every industry. Employers have an incentive to tell employees you can't go to a competitor. Even Jimmy John's sandwich makers and McDonald's employees and camp counselors and yoga instructors. The employer has this kind of knee-jerk reaction, I think, when they hire somebody good to say, we just want to keep you, and we want to keep you not by making an effort to pay you more and to pay you a competitive market price, but by having you sign a contract that you can't move to a competitor.
One of the insights of your book that I thought was so profound was, the idea that knowledge is embedded in people, and that knowledge is also property.
That's the subject of You Don't Own Me, my next book. This one creative employee that just has that experience. His ideas are rejected by his current employer, and he can't sell his ideas to other inventors or entrepreneurs in the industry, and it's very emotionally destructive. It's also market destructive, because the toy industry that just doesn't change. There's this one company, Mattel, that's dominating the whole market. Why do we have Barbie as the one single doll that dominates the market for decades?
I was walking my kids to school past the shop, we're in the middle of nowhere in France, and they just put out their Christmas display, and there was a huge Barbie display, with her I guess her Christmas robe. I don't know. It's Ice Queen robe. I thought of your book when I saw it.
So one fun piece of news is that it's being made into a movie.
What, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I wanted to take Talent Wants to Be Free to a single story. It shows how the human dimension, we're talking about human capital. It's resources that go into creativity, but these resources are people. These are workers.
So on that note, for a long time, employers and HR departments really look to retention and turnover as measures of human capital. And your book seems to suggest to me that that may not be the best measure.
I think that the best employers know how to incentivize employees with offering carrots rather than sticks. They understand that the market these days means that employees won't necessarily stay. That's just not the way that markets work. And not just HR, but the best executives really look at what the value of an employee is while they're working, and then also look at their next steps as alumni of the workplace. Also do what we call boomerang hiring. It's actually such a great advantage to try to rehire somebody that used to work for you, because you have more information about them. It's great signaling that they came back, that they saw that the grass is not greener and on the other side.
What's the most memorable conversation you've had with someone in industry about these ideas?
Actually, after we get off the video, I'm driving up to speak with Judge David Carter in Irvine about he was a great judge and you don't own me. We're really talking casting now and things like that. So so I'm having a lot of these memorable conversations about, who would play you in these really important scenes. So for example, a memorable conversation was when I went to talk to Isaac Larian, who is the CEO and founder of MGA, which was the competitor of Mattel, that hired this former employee of Mattel and took a chance on him and developed Bratz that challenged Barbie. I went to see him in Los Angeles in his boardroom, and we had a great, 2-hour conversation that I talk about in the book. And it was really interesting to compare his understanding of, how do you value people? How do you become passionate in your industry versus the CEO then at Mattel, who seemed very, cold and bottom line numbers, and was just like the way that he was trying to get Mattel back into shape was just to fire people. And Isaac Larian, I thought, was very, very good at understanding that, first of all, we don't own people. We can only incentivize them and relate to them our passion about, being the best in an industry. I think, when you see that kind of passion, that really links up to successful products.